So next, I want to introduce our next speakers. Bailey and Elle Harris are authors and youth activists. Bailey, it says you're 15. I don't know if you're still 15. Is that right? Yeah. She's on a mission to inspire a love of science and a sense of wonder about the universe, to promote free thought and work towards the acceptance of scientific fact in society and in government. She's the author of the Stardust series of science books for young readers. And her sister, soon to be 11-year-old Elle Harris, is the author of the books Wonderful Earth, that she published back when she was 9, and Elle the Humanist in 2020. Elle loves sharing her passion for life with others through her books. And as I said, welcome again. We're so happy to have you here in Santa Barbara. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you for being here and speaking to us.
Of course, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm so excited to share my story and to be able to talk with my little sister Elle as well. And I hope this conversation helps you understand how important science and humanism can be to children in our world. Your case framework actually aligns really well with what my sister and I do for activism and education. I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about my family. So this is my family. I have 2 older brothers and obviously a younger sister. My family loves science, and I grew up watching shows like Bill Nye, The Science Guy, and at bedtime I would read books like Magic of Reality with my parents, and we were very careful to teach us how to think and not what to think as well. And they never told us how to label ourselves, which was pretty cool growing up. I grew up actually in a secular family. This is a screenshot of a presentation that my parents used to teach us at the secular virtues when I was 6 years old. When my parents taught me like the platinum rule, which was like a really good thing. My sister will actually talk about this more. But when I was really little, I used to go on the trampoline with my dad, and we would just look at the stars and constellations in life. And I used to even have like an app where it would tell me where different planets were and all that, which was pretty cool. I could feel that I was part of something larger than myself when I was looking at the stars and the planets. I actually grew up in Utah. My family moved back to California this year, but I lived in Utah for the past 15 years. As you know, Utah is known for actually quite a few things. They have like really cool national parks, and they also have the Osmonds from Utah. They also have a humongous copper mine that took down a huge, nice, beautiful mountain. And this is actually a picture from NASA that they took from space. And they have the salt flats too. We went there out last year, and I got to drive the car really, really fast. They also host the Sundance Film Festival every year. Am I forgetting anything, maybe? Utah is the worldwide headquarters of the Mormon Church. That's where my story actually begins. This is me on my first day of 3rd grade in South Jordan, Utah. Look how excited I was. What I didn't know is that the kids all behind me were trying to figure out how to turn me into a good little Mormon girl. And as you can tell, most of the girls behind me are staring at the fact that I have a sleeveless shirt. I'm such a heathen child. As you probably know, Mormon children get baptized when they turn 8, so they start talking about religion quite a bit this year. One thing that started happening this year is that my classmates wanted me to read a book that was very special to them.
The Book of Mormon.
They told me that this would make me happy, because it makes them happy. But then these same kids started asking me if I believed in Jesus. I told them I didn't believe in Jesus. They thought that I was totally crazy for not believing in Jesus. After this, a girl in my class actually started following me around at recess and lunch and always wanted to talk to me about religion. One day I told her that I don't believe in Jesus and that I didn't want to talk about religion with her. So she told me that I wouldn't be able to see the pretty princess castle in the sky. She told me that I would go to a place called hell. The girl continued following me around, telling me that I was going to hell. I ran away and hid from her. The next day, she did the same thing and I ran away again. Then she told the yard duty after a while that I was refusing to play with her. The yard duty took me to the assistant principal. The assistant principal told me that I couldn't refuse to play with someone in my class. I told her that the girl wouldn't stop talking to me about religion and telling me that I was going to hell. The assistant principal told me that I was being a bully because I refused to play with this girl. So the assistant principal kept me in at recess and made me read actually anti-bullying books. My mom came in and saw me crying at lunch one day and asked my teacher because I was being a bully by refusing to play with this girl. My mom then spoke with the assistant principal. The assistant principal told my mom, "What do you expect? You moved here from California to Utah." This year ended up being very hard for me. The innocent little excited girl on the first day of school had some dark times lately this year. There are times with the bullying that I wondered if I even wanted to be alive. Fortunately, we found a really great counseling for me and I was able to get through it in a really positive way. I don't tell you this because I want you to feel sorry for me. I tell you it because it will help you understand why I wrote my Stardust books and became a secular activist. And now for the happy part of the story. My family loves science, so we watch Cosmos together every Sunday night. In one episode, Neil deGrasse Tyson actually said, "The planets, the stars, galaxy, we ourselves, all of life, the same star stuff." This was so amazing to me. I couldn't believe that our bodies were actually made of stardust. I wanted all the kids in the world to know about this. So I ran upstairs to the computer and started typing a book. This is an actual document of the day that I wrote my original title, which was The Book of Truth. I knew that the Book of Mormon was special to my friends at school, so I made the title very similar to their book titles. This is actually a picture of me when I was 8 years old, showing how I wanted the pages in my book to be illustrated. I was excited to share this with the whole world. This is actually what the book ended up looking like. I started the book off by talking about how life appeared on Earth millions of years ago with single-celled organisms. We talk about how there are hundreds of billions of galaxies with hundreds of billions of stars in each galaxy. This actually illustrates the feeling I had on the trampoline, looking at the stars and realizing that I'm part of something much larger than myself. We also talk about evolution and how it connects us to everything on Earth, right? I had the idea to talk about unicorns, pixies, and fairies and show how beliefs should be based on evidence. I had this idea when I was 8 years old, and the scientists that we worked with actually really loved this page. Our book was actually published, and I was able to go to BookCon and Book Expo in New York, and for its release. I was able to speak with so many children, which was an amazing and mind-boggling situation. And I learned how much children actually love space and learning about it. So I worked with our publisher and we decided to write a second book about the solar system. This is a page for my second book. I tried to find the coolest things about each planet for this book. Actually, when I was researching a lot of it, I got the chills learning about different things and the research going with the solar system and galaxies. It was really cool. And this is what the book ended up looking like. It's called Stardust Explores the Solar System. In this book, we talk about how our galaxy formed around 13 billion years ago, not long after the Big Bang. We also talk about how it is that we have life on Earth, right? And how it's fun to think about the billions and billions of other solar systems in our universe. And there might be millions of other planets spinning around us and stars that could support life. And we talk about the coolest things about each planet, like Uranus is really cold and spins on its side. And of course, we talk about skepticism. This is my third book, which leads into that. It's called Stardust Explores Earth's Wonders. And this book is about geology and evolution. Ever since our first book, parents have been asking us to write more about evolution. Creationists hate this book, and it's really funny to see how much they hate it sometimes. This is part of the first page of the book, and it's Stardust's actual skeptical little brother, Vincent, and he asks her a lot of questions. I read this page to you. Stardust, where did Earth and planets and animals come from? Was it magic? No, Vincent, it wasn't magic, but the process is even more special than magic. And this is another page from the book. We talk about geology, we talk about the history of the Earth, and we discuss the fundamentals of evolution with many examples like how polar bears ended up being with white fur. And this is actually my favorite example of how we have millions of species of animals on Earth and how animals can evolve into many different animals. And I'm actually so grateful to have these 3 Stardust books because they help me share my passion for science with the world. Last year, I actually released another book, and it's actually a special edition of my first book, My Name is Stardust, just revamped and different. This version of my book features a new foreword by Richard Dawkins. He's actually a really cool guy, and we were both speaking at Center for Inquiry's annual conference in Las Vegas in 2019. And he was so kind to me and talked to me about my books and about his little grandson. I asked him if he would be willing to write me a foreword, and he was actually willing to, which was super, super sick. And it was so nice that he was willing to do this for us. I would like to conclude by talking a little bit about my activism. My books have given me a platform that I'm grateful for, and I'm primarily fight for 3 things: science, education, equality, and atheism. The first for these is naturally science education. Why is science education important, right? No matter what people like this say about climate change, this is happening and humans are causing it. Who still believes this thing? It's crazy, honestly, at this point. Charles Darwin actually said, freedom of thought is best promoted by gradual illumination of men's minds, which follows from the advance of science. I've been able to do some cool things to promote my science education. I was on a PBS special. I do book readings in classrooms. I've also had the great opportunity of doing a radio interview on iHeartRadio and talking about science education as well. I do a lot of podcast interviews and interviews like this as well. And I do science experiments on TV, which is pretty sick. And I know that Wolfa will talk about this as well today, but I'm so happy that my books are being translated for the translation project. to help me encourage science education in Muslim majority countries. Other thing that I'm an activist for is equality. Here's actually a picture that we did in the Ark Encounter. We were talking about getting back the rainbow. LGBTQ rights are very important to me as well. I have an uncle and 2 cousins and some friends who are openly gay. This is my cousin Tate. He is gay, and one of the nicest people you will ever meet. He was actually at a gas station last year, and 2 people came up to him and called him gay and threw a lot of hot chocolate on him. When I fight for equality, I fight for my cousin Tate. I hope that you will join me in this fight. And I do post all the time about how I want to support Black communities, especially right now. I'm also starting to get more involved into politics as I get older and understand more about how it runs. Our family just finished participating in the Humanist for Biden. It was cool to have a candidate that was willing to have a group of humanists supporting the campaign for the first time in history. As you can see, lately, basic human rights for women are under attack around the world, including Texas banning it. This fight is happening within our own country, and it's very depressing that we still have to fight for this. Our basic human rights are just now under attack and at risk because of people like this. We all need to work hard to make sure that we aren't required to say, "Blessed be the fruit and praise be in the future." This helps me view my work in feminism. We all have to fight together to keep this scary story from becoming a reality. We as humanists need to fight harder than ever. The third topic that I fight for is atheism. Why? Because religion is still fighting hard against my other passions. That what in this world is this all about? I'm so happy about the results of the election last year. This man is not alone, and his people have a lot of power lately. The Ark Encounter is a perfect example of why we fight for atheism. I did a video with Secular Student Alliance that is on YouTube. We talk about anti-science found in the Ark Encounter, and in the picture on the left, a lady heard me talking about how Earth is 4.6 billion years old, and she told security on us. We're happy that we didn't get kicked out, actually. I have worked with Secular Student Alliance to help children have a safe, secular community at school as well. I had the opportunity to speak at conferences about science and atheism, which is a really amazing experience. And I also had the privilege to sign my books next to some seriously amazing people such as Salman Rushdie. It's crazy. I was signing my book next to Salman Rushdie. This way of teaching children is wrong, with saying that you make a mistake and that's a sin, making these children scared and having no love for science, and making them not want to learn new ways of learning is honestly child abuse and overall a horrible way of living. Just like in the Ark Encounter say, I was working hard to convince others that the flood was not real, then I can convince them that heaven and hell are not real. As I and all of us look into the night sky at the hundreds of billions of stars spinning on a rock through space, it's amazing for me to realize that we are all connected, that we ourselves are made of stardust, and that alone makes us special. Thank you, and I really appreciate your support as well as we work together to make the world a better place for everyone. Now I'm going to turn the time over to Elle.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to speak with all of you today, and I'll start by telling you a little bit about myself. Well, I absolutely love soccer. I play club soccer here in Santa Barbara. I am a left back, just like my older brother that just left for college. And I love doing science experiments. This is me doing an elephant toothpaste experiment with my dad up in the mountains. I love to travel. I have grown up traveling around the country watching Bailey at her speaking events. This was us at San Francisco when Bailey was speaking with Freedom from Religion Foundation. This is me at the Center for Inquiry's annual conference, getting people to sign up for Bailey's newsletter while she was doing the book signings. You can see me standing on the stage as Bailey was getting set up at Center for Inquiry's annual conference in Las Vegas. I was dreaming that when I was older, I could stand on that stage myself someday. Bailey spoke at DragonCon last year, and my family had so much fun in the parade. We were the skeptical Scooby-Doo family in the parade. Of course, Margaret Downey from Freethought Society coordinated it all. I even got to speak on my first panel about growing up in a secular family at DragonCon. Now I will talk about my new book, Elle the Humanist. This was my elementary school in Utah last year. You went to elementary. Many of the kids at my school started talking about religion and how they were going to get baptized, and I actually loved these conversations. Like one of my friends, Penny, asked me what church I go to. I told her that I didn't go to any church. She didn't even know that it was possible to not be Mormon, and she thought that everyone had a religion. And so I went home and told my parents about this. They taught me about all the different religions that people believe and how everyone can believe what they want. And I had so much fun talking to my friends at school about this. I asked my dad to help me write a book about this to share my experience with other children. We spent the next 9 months working on our new book called Elle the Humanist. Elle the Humanist was released last year. I got to be on the news in Utah talking about humanism, which was so cool. So many people supported us, like Nick Fish from American Atheist and Christian from American Humanist Association. Daniel Dennett wrote the foreword to my book, which was so cool. Like Bailey, we have donated the rights for Elle the Humanist to the Translations Project. I am so happy to know that children in Muslim majority countries will be able to read my book for free to help them learn about humanism. I will now read Elle the Humanist. Hello, my name is Elle. It's nice to meet you. I'm a humanist. A humanist is a person who tries to be good because they want to make the place a better world for everyone. Have you heard of a humanist? Most of my friends at school haven't, so they ask me questions to understand. Most of the time, these questions start with my friends ask me what church I go to. I tell them that I don't go to any church. There are so many humanist groups that give us the chance to be part of a community, the same way a religious church is a community. Some humanists choose to be in a part of an organized group. My family's community comes from our friends and family, school, and the local soccer club that we love. Some of my friends ask me how I know what is right and wrong if I don't go to church and study books from their churches like the Bible or Quran. My family doesn't read church books together, but we do love to read about science, nature, and history as we learn how to think about being good people. My parents taught me a simple rule to help me understand what is right and wrong. It is called the Platinum Rule. The Platinum Rule is simple. Treat others the way they would like to be treated. Rules like this have been taught for thousands of years. You can see on this fun chart how our Platinum Rule is very much like other golden rules. The humanist version of the Platinum Rule is fun and easy. Here's how I use it. Would my friends like me to steal their toys? No, so I don't steal their toys. Would my friends like me to lie to them? No, so I don't lie to them. I can also do nice things with the Platinum Rule. Here's how this works. Would my friend like me to share my treats with him? Yes, so I share my treats with him. Would my mom like me to clean up my room and help with the dishes after dinner? Yes, so I clean up my room and help with the dishes after dinner. I have to remember that some people don't want to be treated like I want to be treated because we are all very different. This is why the Platinum Rule teaches us to treat other people like they would like to be treated, not like we would like to be treated. Here's how it works. I love to be tickled on my feet, but my brother Bryson doesn't like to be tickled on his feet, so I don't tickle him. tickle Bryson, my brother, on his feet. But I love when my mom tickles my feet. My friend Brinley doesn't like sushi like I do. So when we have a choice of where to go out, I don't pick sushi restaurants. I try to pick restaurants with pizza because that's a Brinley's favorite. Some of my friends ask me questions like, how do you know if you're good enough to go to heaven after you die? I don't know anything about this, but I know that being a good person and helping others makes the people around you feel happier, and that makes me feel happy. It doesn't matter if you're Chinese, Pakistani, German, Mexican, or if you're from the United States like me, or if you believe in Krishna, Poseidon, Jesus, Muhammad, or you don't believe in any gods or prophets like me. We're all trying our best to be happy as we live on this wonderful earth, and being a good person and loving others makes us all happier than anything else. I hope that this book can help children and families learn about diversity and ethics in some secular children and families. I hope that this helps them feel like they are not alone and also helps them know how they can talk about religion with their friends. Thank you so much for letting me share my story with you.
Thank you so much for your books and for your spirit and your courage in the face of everything that all the people and the conversations that you've had, what people have said to you, for having the courage to go out there and be so self-expressed. So thank you. Looking forward to getting to know you guys even better. I'm glad you're in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting us come on.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you to Bailey and Elle. That was fantastic. So inspiring, you guys. Just fantastic.